Thank you so much to everybody who's here tonight. I especially want to thank David and Leslie for organizing this on top of a very, very busy schedule. So thank you very much for doing this. Mrs. Northam, thank you for being here this evening. I'm honored to have you here as our special guest, and your words have really meant so much to me. Mrs. Northam is correct. We actually had a meeting at the mansion on August 3rd. I looked it up today, so it's almost been exactly a year ago. I had it on my work calendar and I looked it up. I was so honored to be invited to the governor's mansion that morning, and I was fortunate to have a private tea with Mrs. Northam that day, and we were discussing women's leadership. We were discussing how we can take opportunities for minority women in particular to engage on a public stage and to be able to demonstrate that we have such a rich diversity here in the Commonwealth. So thank you for meeting with me that morning. The one part of our discussion that really stuck with me, I don't know if you remember it, is that you mentioned Alice Walker. And you mentioned in particular her wonderful essay, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens. And I was so impressed, first, that you had a literary reference there, but secondly, the fact that it was Alice Walker, and an essay that focuses on the ways in which women's voices have been silenced historically, and how women have to take ownership of their own courage in order to speak and to be visible. So thank you for that. I just want to thank everybody again for being here. And as some of you know, I'm a professor of American literature. My lectures usually take an hour long. So Major has the right idea. He's already seated. Please take a seat. I'm kidding. I won't keep you that long. But maybe long enough to help this rain pass through us. But if you'll indulge me, I actually wanted to begin with a reference to literature. American poetry is my personal passion, and the two poets that I really find affinity with are Walt Whitman and Langston Hughes. And Walt Whitman was the bard of America. He really wanted to encapsulate this rich and diverse and wonderful country that we have in poetry. In one of his famous poems, in his lines, he says, "I hear America singing. I hear America singing." And he was talking about all of the many different voices of America, from the twang of the Kentuckian to the drawl of the Southern Georgian to the nuances of all of our different accents around the country. He was talking about the laborers, the farmers, the people who do the day-to-day work every single day to make America what it is. And his encapsulation of that in "I hear America singing." But Langston Hughes, a few decades later in the Harlem Renaissance, made us realize that not everybody in this country has had the opportunity to participate in that song, hasn't had the same opportunity to lend their voice and their experience to the narrative of America. And Langston Hughes challenged that idea, and he said, "I too sing America." How profound and valuable those words are. The ability to claim for yourself a voice and a purpose. I too sing America. I realize that I too have to sing America in a certain way, with my own voice, with my unique identity. Some of you know that my catalyst to actually run came out of a moment of severe personal crisis. I had arrived at work at J. Sargent Reynolds Community College one morning, and it was immediately after the Muslim ban had been put into place. I was listening to the story on NPR, and I had a moment of personal crisis where I couldn't physically get out of the car. I was having a panic attack because I didn't know anymore whether I actually had a home in this country, whether I and my family were welcome in this country. And I knew that I had to do something. I could put my head down, or I could actually stand up. I could be silent or I could speak. I could continue to not be visible, or I could lay claim to a presence in this country. And that was a moment for me that I knew I had a platform, I had an ability, and I had the opportunity to actually do something. So my decision to run has been coming slowly for the past couple of years, and when this opportunity came, my husband, my family, we all knew we had to grab it, that this was our moment. And this past February, actually, I celebrated my 50th year of living in America. What better way to celebrate an American life than to engage in this wonderful campaign? So thank you for all your support. Just a few days before the primary, I got a very interesting email from somebody that I didn't really know. And he said, Ghazala, I fully expected someone like you to emerge and to do well in Northern Virginia. But the fact that you're doing this in Central Virginia is a demonstration of how far Virginia has come. Yes. And truly, that statement wasn't about me, it wasn't about my campaign, it was about all of us. It was about this wonderful community that we have built here, and it's about the potentiality of a wonderful community that we are looking at in the future. That statement meant that we in Virginia embrace the policies of inclusivity, that we refuse to give in to those forces that are trying to divide us and to empower embitterment, that we are champions of a democratic ideal that is old in this country, that was founded here in Virginia, that is ours, and that we lay claim to. So this truly is our campaign. This is our moment. We know we are going to take this district. We know that we are going to make sure we protect those vulnerable individuals in our community, that we are going to embrace what we value. And we value that healthcare is a right and not a privilege. We value that quality public education is a public good that ought not to be restricted to a certain zip code. And we absolutely know that our environment and our crisis of climate is upon us, and that if we're going to preserve Virginia, this region, this nation, this world, that we have to take important climate action. Virginia is the leader. Virginia is the leader in all of these areas. We're going to show the way for the rest of the country. So I deeply thank you for all of your support. I thank you for everything that you have done to help this campaign move forward. And if you're living in my district, I'm going to ask you to continue to give that support. I'm going to ask you to come out and vote in November. But one of the most important things I'm going to ask you to do is help me to spread the word in Virginia that Ghazala Hashmi is an American name.